Hello all sentient beings and welcome to the Transmissions Podcast, where we talk all Hasbro, Takara, and third-party Transformers! On this episode of Transmissions, we are going to talk a whole lot about TFcon. Today is Wednesday, October 30th, 2019, and this is episode 353 of Transmissions.
Welcome to Transmissions, the podcast that is now using fans' toys figures as furniture. I'm your host Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Yusuf, better known as Yoshi.
Not as comfy as you would think.
Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hey, what's up?
And Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
What's happening? Let's talk Transformers.
All right, and as always, we start off by thanking our Donatreons, those lovely people who give us money on Patreon and PayPal, and we really appreciate the support, and you help us continue to make this show possible, so thank you for that. If you would like to join the ranks of our Donatreon army, just go to transmissionspodcast.com/support, and there you'll find links to sign up for a small monthly donation. If you don't want to donate, that's fine, but maybe you should check out some of our merchandise at our TeePublic store. That's at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. We've also got our friend K-Girl, who is an awesome artist. She has her own store at teepublic.com/user/superstark. You can get awesome designs on t-shirts and other merchandise. It's all up there on our TeePublic store. And starting today, Wednesday, October 30th, there is a big site-wide sale going on TeePublic. Everything is 35% off, and that means t-shirts are $13 a piece, and everything else is discounted. So if you didn't want to pull the trigger on a Transmissions shirt, maybe now's the time. It's a pretty good discount. They do it every month, so now's the time. The moon is full. Do it.
Do it now!
And speaking of our lovely Donatreons, we've got another perk for them. They are automatically entered in our Toy Hacks $10 gift code drawing every month. So when you become a Donatreon, you automatically get put on our list and you go into the drawing. Of course, you can enter without being a Donatreon. You just have to send us an email with a picture of some of the Transformers toys you'd like to get stickered up from Toy Hacks and tell us what you want to get done. And this month, we have our first contest entry from an email. So thank you to Paul, who sent in a picture of his 3 reflectors that he got. Siege reflectors.
They're not called reflectors.
No.
They should be.
Well, Charles. I will always call them reflectors. I don't care. Hasbro doesn't own me. And I respect no trademarks.
Your fucking Unicron is so coming dinged.
But yeah, Paul sent in his email. He sent us a picture of their 3 reflectors. He says they need stickers. And he wants to win, so he got put onto the list.
How much would a Toy Hacks Unicron sticker set cost?
Probably a lot.
$50, $75.
Yeah.
But how long would it take you to sticker that thing?
That alone is a hobby. Good God.
All right, Paul, good luck. We'll be rooting for you. All right, so we're going to do that Toy Hacks gift code drawing right now. Jeremy, is your assistant ready?
Computer, are you ready?
I'm ready when you are.
Google's always listening, Jeremy.
No, this is Amazon.
All right, we need a random number between 1 and 105.
Computer, give me a random number between 1 and 105.
Your random number between 1 and 105 is 88.
88. Nathan.
Nathan is a funny way to say DJ Ronan.
Well, that's because it's not. He already won one time. He's not going to win every time.
Congratulations, Nathan.
Congrats.
You just stole that from DJ, Nathan.
Nathan, we will be contacting you to get you your gift code. Congrats, and thank you for continuing to be a Transmissions Donatreon. You're awesome.
So's your money.
And before we get into the toy topics, we do want to remind you that this week, episode 9 of Empire of Rust, the first and only Transformers RPG actual play podcast, just came out. So that was this Monday, October 28th. It should have already come up in your feed if you are subscribed to the main Transmissions feed. If you're not, why aren't you subscribed to the Empire of Rust feed and go listen? This is part 2 of the Slow and the Laborious, so enjoy the drama as Sweet Spot races against Blur for the Cybertronian Ibex Cup and see who wins. All right, let's get into some toy news.
All right. I don't know. It's a pretty slow week. I can't imagine a lot happened. I didn't really see anything in the internets this week, except for TFcon DC. Holy smokes, people. A lot of stuff happened there. So I'm not going to go through like everything because we've talked about a lot of this stuff over the course of a few months. So I'm just going to mention a few of the things that were kind of shown off there at the show, and a few of the things that were announced at the third-party panel. Yeah, so we'll get into that here real quick, and we'll kind of do a little discussion here. First off, at the third-party panel, they talked about a few of the companies that they're smaller companies, but they're doing fun things. Non-F, we've had him as a guest on the show before. He's got a really cool add-on kit for the Siege G2 Sideswipe, which I think Jeremy definitely needs to buy, so he can make his G2 Sideswipe all G2. He has also got a add-on ramps for Omega Supreme, so you can really make a city out of them. He also made his own bot, which I thought was hysterical. I believe he called it Steak Bot. It was made in conjunction by the artist Joel Carroll. It all looks pretty cool. It's pretty fun. When you find out later that it's deluxe size, it's absolutely massive for a bot. And it comes with some weapons. So it comes with a meat tenderizer and a steak knife, which I think is just perfect. So I am all for this kind of thing. It's fantastic, and it's bot fun. So it's just goofy. We've got HTB, or Half the Battle Toys. They're the ones that are doing the Dildo Prime that we talked about a couple of weeks ago, and they're doing an add-on kit for Jinbao Devastator. So it's a new head. But they're also doing a lot of little mini tape bots for Soundwave and Blaster. So there's no Blaster out yet, I don't believe, but this is for the Soundwave that's, I think it's the Iron Factory one. So you can see that there. But they're all Legends scale tapes, so they're minute. They're really tiny. And they also teased a Hiss Tank Soundwave, which is kind of cool too, and we just kind of talked about that. And that is leading into a piece of feedback that we got from this past week. So let's see here. Is this from... Yes, so this is off of Discord. It's from user True Deadman, and he sent us the image of the Soundwave Hiss Tank tease, and wanted to know what we thought of it. So, Jeremy, the Soundwave Hiss Tank, what do you think?
I mean, this is clearly just a drawing, so I'm not sure exactly how things are going to work, but I like it. think in the Devil's Due, it was Optimus Prime that was his tank. Isn't that right?
I guess. That's
It was some Autobot, and I know Soundwave works a lot better. The colors are right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming the tapes will just fit in the cockpit.
As drivers,
That's kind of his, his midsection there. And, yeah, I think it'll be fun.
Mm-hmm. I believe in Transformers Earth Wars, Soundwave is his tank. That's one of the designs that they're going with right now, so it kind of works with that right now. I don't think that's what they were going for, but that's how it's kind of working out as well. Charles, I think that we were talking about this last week. What are your thoughts on this kind of fortuitous thing that they've designed here?
I think we said last week it's not something I'm super jazzed about as the Transformers G.I. Joe crossover, but I think it's
jazz. It's Soundwave.
Touche.
Don't give him that. No, you don't do that, Charles.
Hey, he stole my joke earlier. I'm allowed to use a shit joke on him.
That'll learn me.
Yep. Consider yourself learned.
It's learned, people. It's learned.
But yeah, I mean the color scheme matches. Soundwave as a HISS tank is cool. I mean, it's hard to judge based on just this artist rendering here. I mean, this is not even a 3D render. This is just an art design. So I think we need a little bit more before we can judge how well this figure comes together. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I hope there's a market for it. So if people are people are interested in it.
Yeah. And Yoshi, what are your thoughts on this? Did you think you'd see a day where Soundwave would become a HISS tank?
No. I also think we're going to get Destro and one of the soldiers there that is going to fit in the cab. I don't think the tapes are going in there.
Oh, okay. The HISS tank pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
It's as far as drawings go, it's better than anything I could do.
Okay. That's not saying much.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, they probably did this with knowing that the Earth Wars stuff was happening, and they had already had these slides in for TFcon, and they're like, okay, well, we can do this, and they probably just hastily threw it all together, right? So I don't blame them. They wanted to get a tease out there, get some buzz. But yeah,
you sure we haven't seen this before?
Pretty sure, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, we'll also say the use of one of the default PowerPoint templates is, spot on. Way to go.
Next up was Jeremy's favorite company, Civil Warrior, and they're talking about their figure that they've already announced, General Grant, another one of Jeremy's favorite names. Basically, we've talked about this before, so I didn't want to harp on it any, but they're adding a trailer to it, which I thought, that's cool. So I don't even think the figure's out yet, and they're already adding stuff to it. This trailer basically just disassembles and becomes a winged backpack with some giant underslung railguns on it. Essentially, if I had to kind of compare it to anything, it kind of looks like Cybertron Optimus Prime with just a different color palette, but it looks awesome. So yeah, I think that looks pretty neat. If we forward going through the slides a little bit more, something I found kind of interesting is we had talked about this company a bit, and everyone kind of assumed that they were Toy World doing this Predaking, and we had discussed the two featured characters that they had, plus the hands that kind of assemble into a crab. But it's not Toy World. This is a new company called Gang Toys. They showed off the pictures. A couple pictures were brand new. We hadn't seen them before. I really like the picture of I think it's Tantrum, who is just got he's the bull, and he's doing the really fun smile on his face. His bull mouth opens. I think that looks really good. But again, the hands for Predaking assemble and turn into a crab, which I think is a really great use of those extra bits that would just kind of sit around. Fans Hobby showed off some color pictures finally of their Minerva, so that looks really cool. So I know a lot of people are really waiting for this thing to show up and are really excited for it. and they teased something else coming out afterwards that could very well be another Headmaster, but it's another sporty sedan looking thing. I mean, it's in black, doesn't mean it is black, but it could be another Headmaster. So could be Cliff Jumper. Who knows what they're doing? They also showed off a little bit more of their Bendy Prime, or their Armada Prime. I don't know if it's Bendy Prime, but it looks like it's Bendy Prime. But it's basically Armada Optimus, and then they've got an assembled test shot with the trailer, and it just looks absolutely massive. So, yeah, if you're a fan of Fans Hobby, there's some exciting stuff coming up with regards
it looks
to that.
It looks like, if I'm reading this right, the core robot is the Bendy Prime, and then the larger one, it kind of combines with the larger one to make the bigger one. So it's like the best of both worlds.
Yeah, and that's cool. I like that.
I am very interested in.
Well, start saving your nickels, because it's going to be expensive.
It's going to be a lot of nickels.
It's going to be a few, yeah. Next up was Iron Factory, and they showed off a Cliff Jumper, which I don't remember seeing before. So this guy's a nice little squat little, I would say, an Austin Mini looking thing. But yeah, he looks pretty fun. They have a Soundwave coming, a Soundwave version 2, because they already did a Soundwave. And he looks pretty fun, nice and boxy like their style. But I think their Optimal Optimus kind of took everyone by storm, because it looks really awesome. And then they've got their Transmetal 2 Megatron, and another one that kind of stole my interest was their Ultra Magnus. Would be again version 2, but this is definitely the IDW Ultra Magnus, because this guy is just a tank. But he's got Minimus Ambus that'll go inside the armor, and yeah, he's just huge. Charles, what are your thoughts on this Iron Factory Ultra Magnus version 2?
That's really cool, because it's not just Ultra Magnus, it's Ultra Maximus. It's the one from the Dying of the Light IDW arc when he got the upgraded armor when they were fighting the DJD. So it's like they souped him up he was super huge, and just looked super buffed. So it's really interesting. And the Minimus Ambus looks really detailed too. So I wonder how, what he turns into if he.
Well, he's got wheels on him, and I don't remember Minimus actually having an alt mode. So
he does. He has a little car mode.
Oh well, then that's what he turns into.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm glad I asked you, because I did not remember that it was Ultra Maximus.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's why we keep you around.
I'm glad I'm useful for something.
You are, yeah.
Stealing jokes and...
Oh, yeah, you joke thief. Mastermind Creations comes up next, and we've got a lot of stuff we've seen before, a few of the exclusives that we talked about last week, and we've got a few exclusives that they announced this week, but we'll save them for a little bit later, because we've got them in convention news. But they did announce and show off the would be fourth official member of the DJD, and I'm forgetting his name, but he's the one with the big hands and the little hands, so he's got 4 arms. Charles, name please.
Helix.
Perfect, I'll take it. And he looks really awesome, and I mean, they had his prototype at TFcon Toronto, and he's massive. So take a look for that when you have a chance. They did also show off one panel with the other one with the X on his face, Cyclops in robot mode from the X-Men. That's right.
Tesserus.
Right. Yes. And I did see a tweet from K-Girl, or there was a tweet or just a post in the Discord, and she had said that the blades on the inside of his little his chest there all move individually. So yeah, that's an insane amount of detail on that guy. So cool, very cool. And then they do have one more picture here of just all of them together. So that's just a great family portrait. I love it. Family of Death. after that was Ocular Max, and Ocular Max is showing off their Azalea version 2. They have a lot of success with RC figures, and then they're doing a protoform version. So yeah, they're doing that. They've got a cell shaded version of their Ravage figure. So keep on lookout for that. And they're still working on the Perfection Series Bruticus, which is they're calling Assaultus, and something's up with the Brawl figure. Everybody else is done and ready to go, and they had all the robots there in person at TFcon except Brawl. So something is up with Brawl, and they're working on it, and they're getting it all figured out. So yeah, but everything's ready to go. Everyone seems like they look good. Everything looks good, but they just have one issue with Brawl, I guess, and they can't figure it out. Next up, we've got Planet X, and Planet X is showing off stuff that they had before. We've got Star Saber and Leo Convoy, or not Leo Convoy. I always forget that guy's name. What's it? Anybody got a name on the lion guy? You gonna leave me hanging, everyone? Okay, great.
I do not.
Is it Victory Leo or Leo Saber?
Sure,
or something?
Victory Leo. Yeah, Victory Leo. That works.
I was
okay.
I was saying it. I was on mute.
I figured as much. So yeah, we've got Star Saber and Victory Leo. Victory Leo is still in prototype and CAD images here, but they do show off a silhouetted version of the combined form. So just to show that he does combine. Zhang Ji is the Chinese company, and they're showing off a Beast Wars Transmetal 2 Megatron, and they teased a Silverbolt. It's pretty easy to tell who that is. It's Beast Wars Silverbolt. So that looks pretty cool.
Are you sure that's not Tigerhawk?
Oh, it could be Tigerhawk. I'm looking in the second picture.
Is the combined.
Yeah,
his name is Tyga Eagle.
Oh,
TYGA.
Yeah, I see in the second picture with the claws over top of the shoulders that because the first one looks like it could be Silverbolt. That's what I was looking at, the first picture. But yeah, Tigerhawk in the second picture for sure with the claws over top of the shoulder. Cool. Either way, it's a Beast Wars figure. And lastly, we get to Fans Toys, and Fan Toys did a lot of review on stuff they've already done. We've got some Minicons, we've got some Stunticons, we've got some Aerial Bots. They did a nice little review of their Thomas figure, which is their Astro Train, and I adore this name. I want to get it just because it's the name. And if somebody comes over and says, "Hey, that's a really cool Astro Train," I say, "Sorry, excuse me, that's Thomas."
They should make an add-on for a little face that goes on the engine.
I would love it. I would absolutely love it. But it's a really cool figure, and it's just every mode in this for this Fans Toys Thomas looks absolutely perfect, and it's going to be expensive. I don't think there's pre-orders out for it yet, but it just looks great. And you can have the robot mode in cartoon or in toy accuracies. So whichever one you want there, I like it. I like it a lot.
Does it come with that clear track, or is that?
It is, yes. That is definitely a part of the figure. It comes it's a display stand that also doubles as a piece of railroad track. So yeah, you can use it as just displaying the train mode, or you can use it to display the shuttle. It's there's a lot of things that come with this, and it looks fantastic. Yep. But the biggest reaction of the entire panel, and I did watch the panel live, like not live, but a recording of it, because I wanted to hear the audience and the way everything was presented, was the next figure. It's FT-40, and it's Fans Toys Fort Max, and they are doing an entire city bot, headmaster, and it's big. So I guess they chose the number 40, so FT40 for a reason, because he's 40 inches tall. It's ridiculous. So a standard Masterpiece scaled figure. So they showed their Hoodlum figure, which is their Rodimus Prime, Hot Rod Rodimus Prime, as scale, and it comes up to about his ankle, the lower part of his shin. I wanted to have a little bit of discussion on this because this is ridiculous in the size. Okay, so this thing's 40 inches tall. We just got done a crowdsource or a crowdfund for Unicron, which came up to 27 inches. This is 13 more inches tall.
I don't think my kid's 40 inches tall yet.
Like, this is almost 4 feet, right? Like, first, I don't even want to think about how much this thing is going to cost, right? It's made by Fans Toys, which is already really expensive to begin with. But this thing is going to be enormous. There are people who will get this regardless of how much it costs or how big it is, but where do you put something like this?
If you can afford this figure, you've got a massive fucking den. Just for starters, you've got space to sprawl this thing out. Who says the place set is dead?
It's pretty crazy. Yeah, I mean, more power to the people who can get this. I mean, yeah, I'm already I backed the Unicron, so I'm having to figure out where that Unicron's going to go, but I can't even imagine like this
in your new house that you're going to have to buy.
But yeah, I mean, how do you even ship this thing? This thing is huge. Maybe they'll break it up into like
in multiple shipments.
Yeah, like what they did with the what is it, Skylinks?
Yeah, the Omega Supreme
and the Omega Supreme.
Yeah, yeah,
that's crazy. That's huge.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but even the Omega may only come up to his like thigh, right? Like this is beyond big. Like it's a headmaster for a headmaster. So you've got the Spike and you've got the Cerebros, and then you've got a bit of a sword that goes into the bottom of the head as a brainstem, right? So that can kind of stab into the Fort Max body, to kind of hold him into place there. Right. Mm-hmm. But like, I'm impressed. I want to see one, right? Like I gotta see one in person, but I'm at a loss for words at how big that this thing is.
Is this thing too wide for a Detolf?
Oh yeah. Oh okay. My God. Yeah.
Unicron's too big for a Detolf.
Yeah. Well, Unicron's a giant.
I'm not talking
ball.
height. I'm talking width.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. For sure. Yeah. Oh, Detolf is not that wide. Yeah.
We need to get IKEA on an upgraded display cabinet here.
Yeah.
Well, there's sites where do IKEA hacks. Someone's gonna figure it out.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm impressed. I'm also terrified at the idea of having something like this in the house.
My thoughts on this are, I think this is where the third-party bubble bursts.
You think so? Okay.
I think this is probably the beginning of the end. People are going to get into financial issues because they get this, and then later down the line, they're not able to pay rent or whatever. And I think, it might not be for a couple of years, but I think this is probably the high water mark. And it's going to be downhill from here.
Jesus, Debbie Downer.
I know. Well,
that was my first thought when I saw it.
This is Icarus flying too close to the sun, huh?
You thought you took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say they haven't announced a name for this yet, but I was going to suggest Icarus. Yeah,
I pre-stole your joke.
You did. Yeah. Yeah, I can totally see that too, Jeremy. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that they buy everything Fans Toys, and I don't blame them. Fans Toys produces some really nice stuff, right? So if you are not prepared to house something like this, but you're already pot committed to getting everything Fans Toys, you got what do you do? What do you do with yourself with this, right? the saving grace, I think, and everyone's been kind of making the joke already because it's kind of a known fact, is that Fans Toys takes forever to build their stuff, right? So this thing is announced here in the end of October 2019, but we might not see it until, 2024, 2025, right? Like, it's going to take them forever to make this thing, right?
I mean, I think the nightmare scenario is they say, okay, we're going to make this thing and we're going to ship you a limb at a time. Like, we'll ship you a leg, left leg, left arm, right arm, torso, head. And, it's every 6 months or so. And we'll charge you $100 for each piece. And then they get 3 pieces in and Fans Toys goes belly up. And you're left with a torso, a left leg, and a right arm.
Yeah. Or Hasbro decides this is worth suing over.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that risk now.
It's possible. But, I mean, Hasbro did sell all their Fort Maxes a while ago.
Well, I know, but, I mean, it's just, now with the whole Unicron Zeta Toys thing, they're looking at this, and this might be worth the money.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They're also stealing Hasbro's bragging rights of producing the largest Transformers, so Hasbro might not like that.
It's true. This officially is not a Transformer. It's a transforming action figure. But yeah, it's the insanity level is high on this one for sure. So I mean, we'll leave it at that. I mean, unless anyone else has anything else they wanted to say about it. But
yeah, I want to say something.
Sure, go ahead.
I love how hyper detailed the robot mode is.
Okay.
I know we're just looking at a black and white 3D printed something, but it almost looks like papercraft. It just looks... I really, really like how it looks. And I've been staring at this image thinking, what does this thing look like in alt mode or in city mode? Because I didn't realize there was one more fucking slide. But the city mode is not hyper detailed or detailed. I mean, I really like how this fucking looks in both modes.
Oh, sounds like we got a buyer.
Oh yeah. I'll just empty out my garage.
Yeah, I want to see one, but yeah, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a while, but we'll follow it. We'll follow this for sure. We won't have a choice. It'll be too big to miss. I did want to mention one more thing before I passed on the torch here. There was a surprise kind of reveal of a prototype at TFcon, and it was from Mastermind Creations, and they are doing they're calling it Nemo, and if you couldn't tell from the name, it is a figure of a Nemo surgeon from More Than Meets the Eye, and that Nemo surgeon is Chrome Dome. So it is a figure of More Than Meets the Eye's Chrome Dome, and it does transform into the crazy weird alt mode that he did have in the show, and it comes with a really interesting accessory of a pair of hands that are holding each other. So you can swap out the hands so he can hold hands with his buddy Rewind. So yeah, and I don't know if they showed off a Rewind. I don't think they did, but there is an idea that a Rewind will come as a partner figure. What do you think of that, Charles?
You got to do the Rewind. If you're going to do the Brainstorm, you got to do the Rewind.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious how the Rewind's going to turn out, because it turns into a memory stick, so it's going to be just a flat shape.
I mean, it needs to be functional. It needs to be a USB stick.
That would be cool. They're pretty. You can get components pretty cheap these days. Get a pretty big.
And the newer USB connectors are kind of small.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right on. Well, I'm just going to pass it along now and be done with TFcon. Jeremy, what do you got for us?
This will be the chaser after all that. Let's get into some financial news.
Oh, yes.
Going on mute.
Yeah, Hasbro had their financial call for the third quarter of 2019, and it was bad. They are blaming the ongoing tariffs issue with China as the big cause of this. but they are saying that they had Transformers revenues were up on Bumblebee film related revenue. Point of sale increased in the U.S. and revenues are up year to year or year to date. Sorry, so that's January through now. But shipments declined in the quarter with no feature film this year. So, Transformers still needs kind of the media to drive the sales, and I would wager that not many, most of the audience doesn't really know about Cyberverse, and you need that feature film. It's just that ongoing China tariff stuff is really the biggest thing. And Daryl put in here the 6-month stock price, which the stock is pretty stagnant. It's like 6 months ago was 101 and it closed on October 25th at 96. And I went to look at a year ago. It was at like 92 a year ago. So it's gone way up at times. It was at a high of 126. But so, it could be a lot worse than it is, but it's still, I would wager we're going to see more things like the boss in alt mode. We talk about that studio they closed.
Oh, yeah. What were they? Something Flip.
Oh, Backflip Studios.
Backflip, yeah.
We didn't record the shows out of order this week. No, not at all. But yeah, they closed the Backflip Studios, which they bought for $112 million 6 years ago. I would wager more things like that. They're going to be consolidating, and we know they've bought a number of studios, like the animation studio that does Cyberverse, the Boulder Media. I think Hasbro bought them. I don't know. I'm just betting we're going to see more kind of consolidation, focusing on their core brands. And
well, they got the rights to the Ghostbusters franchise, right? So
that's going to be a big thing, especially with the new movie coming out.
I think we're going to see. I don't know if they can handle more than one thing at a time. Like, I think next year is going to be the Ghostbusters focus.
Well, they also have the Star Wars license, so yeah. I would think Christmas is going to be very good for them this year. They have Power Rangers. They have Star Wars with the new movie coming out.
It's Morphin time.
Next year there's a Ghostbusters movie coming out. So it's just a matter of, are they going to shift more of their production out of China into other places? How long is that going to take? On the Transformer side, I would see them probably leaning more on Takara than they already do. Yeah, that is pretty much all I have to say on this. You guys have any comments on it?
Not really. It's too bad, but it's the way the world works right now, unfortunately, and hopefully it changes soon.
Well, that is our business segment. Yoshi, what do you got this week?
I guess this is more of a PSA that Transformers Generations 35th anniversary figures are popping up in retail stores. This is including Sound Blaster, Blue Streak, Optimus Prime, and Megatron in their cel-shaded variations.
I believe these are exclusive to Walmart.
No,
really?
My Walmart.
Yep.
Walmart. Huh.
And these are the ones without the paint splotches.
Yeah.
Which is what we should have gotten originally. Yeah, you're right. Walmart. Okay. So if you want clean toys, then these will be out at your local Walmart soon. You looking forward to this, Daryl?
Maybe. The Optimus,
or have you already rubbed the dirt off yours?
The Optimus looks okay, but yeah, it's been pretty easy to get some of the grime off of them. It's some of those other ones like the Ultra Magnus that have a lot of pits and divots in them that are harder to get out of.
Okay. Well, so Charles, Daryl isn't replacing his entire collection so far. How about you?
Well, I might pick up the Megatron because I didn't get the original Megatron because of all the dirt splotches. So this Megatron, if I see it in the store, I might pick it up.
Is this going to have the multicolored reflectors?
No, that's a HasCon exclusive.
Toys R Us exclusive.
Ouch.
You can still order that from Hasbro Pulse in the U.S. In Canada, you can get them at Toys R Us.
On the shelf.
Yeah. And, of course, if you went to HasCon, you can get it there.
Yep.
Can you get them in Quebec?
Yeah.
Oh.
They have the trilingual packaging. Or do they? I don't know. Maybe
I think they do.
Got any thoughts, Jeremy?
I've been holding off on these figures because of the splotches. If I get a chance, this will be. Although I might pick up the Megatron, I think I'm holding off for the Earthrise Optimus.
All right, Charles, you're up.
All right. Well, we had more than one Transformers. Well, I guess MCM London Comic Con is not a Transformers convention, but they did have Hasbro there, and they did do some Transformers announcements there. So this is over in London, England, not London, Ontario, where Daryl is. So sorry, Daryl.
We know. We sent you all over London looking for this.
I was driving like crazy. I couldn't find it.
So first thing we see is, and this is also for you. I'm surprised they didn't do this in London, Ontario, Daryl, because this looks like it's just for you. They had the full Studio Series Devastator on display at MCM London Comic Con. So you can see all 8 figures combined into Devastator. Mm-hmm. And as Hasbro usually does, it was mistransformed and miscombined. So I guess the arms were swapped in the wrong positions. But yeah,
that is one fugly looking creature. Jesus.
Yeah, that's the point.
It was in the movie too.
Yep.
The blue prototype figure doesn't help.
Yeah. So, Daryl, this is in your future. You've got, 4 of these figures, right? So
I do.
I'm sorry, man. I'm really sorry.
Maybe you'll be able to combine it correctly, and you can show it off in trips to the store in the future.
Or spare us.
Yeah, one at a time. I'll show them off one at a time. Yeah, it's not pretty, but it's giving me an idea of like the size that I'm going to have to deal with. So, yeah. You're right. It's not a pretty figure. But it didn't have a lot to work with either. So.
All right. So Hasbro did have a panel, or did they have a panel? They announced a bunch of stuff. I don't know if they had a panel or if it just was shown off. But primarily, they announced stuff for Cyberverse. So they have new Ultra Class figures from Cyberverse. This included a Hot Rod, Bumblebee, Clobber, which is the new female Decepticon based on the Lugnut design from Transformers Animated, Shockwave, and Optimus Prime. And these look okay. I mean, that Optimus Prime, I mean, I'm particularly disappointed with that Optimus Prime. I mean, if you look at the vehicle mode, the truck mode, where like his arms are just hanging out there on top, that's disappointing. I'll just say that. But they all have the little Power of the Spark gimmicks where they have little flip up armor that comes over them in robot mode. So they're all showing that off. But yeah, I just can't get over that Optimus Prime is.
So these are Ultra Class, which means they're what? They're huge? Is that right?
I believe so, yeah. They're big, but they're not very well articulated. They're very big and very blocky. They're giant bricks, essentially. Mm-hmm. But these are for the kids.
Not only are the wheels not rubber, they are just fucking tiny.
Yeah, they might not even move.
Wave 1, the only wave for this line.
But yeah, I don't know. If the kids like them, I guess they can enjoy them and then graduate to better Transformers when they get to the Generations line. But Yeah, so that's Cyberverse. We also have BotBot's Gold Rush games. So gold painted BotBots. Okay, that's nice.
This is a game?
I don't know. I'm trying to see what it's a surprise unboxing gumball. Oh, these gumball machines. They've got gumball machines. That's different from the Winner's Circle Gold.
They're trying
bots.
to keep people from just cherry picking.
Yeah, I think these are like they're chase figures in these gumball machines. So yeah, it's the whole gotcha mechanic from Japan, and keep buying sets until you get the right ones, I guess. But that's not for me. Yeah, so we've got they've got for BotBots, they've got this claw game and gumball machine special boxes, and that's where you get the Gold Rush figures, and they're blind packs, so you can't see what they have until you open them. And then they also announced that for the new Earthrise, the second phase of the Transformers War for Cybertron line, they're getting a new faction. So now we've got the third faction is Mercenaries, who are bots that can be either Autobot or Decepticon. They can switch sides based on who pays them more, I guess. And we did see a hint of this from the Transformers trading card game. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, that the trading card game introduced the Mercenaries third faction that was shown at New York Comic Con. But we thought it was just for the trading card game. But now it looks like they're putting this into the toy line as well. But they didn't mention any figures that would be part of this mercenary faction. So I guess we'll probably see that at New York Toy Fair in February. But I'm curious what mercenaries they're going to put in there. I mean, I think we can guess like characters like Lockdown. That might be a mercenary. We can also think of
I'm going with Carly.
Carly, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say Double Dealer. That might be another character that's traditionally been kind of a
Lockdown.
I said that already.
Oh, sorry, I was looking for something else.
Damn it, Jeremy.
I'm confirming. Yeah, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
What about
So
Lockdown?
and then of course there's Lockdown. But yeah, I mean, I'm curious that they didn't at least show one figure when they mentioned
Like
this.
Lockdown? They should have shown Lockdown.
Yeah. That's clearly the go-to figure for Mercenary.
Right.
But yeah, so this is all the stuff that they showed off at MCM London Comic Con. Daryl, any of these reveals interesting for you? I mean, I don't think you're not buying any Cyberverse toys, are you?
No. As much as I like the show, I I did have to decide that I was going to make a clean cut somewhere, and I cut out all the Cyberverse, and prior to that, the RID 2015 stuff, and yeah, so. Yeah, and generally, if I'm out and my daughter says like, "Oh, can I have a BotBot?" and I'm like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." So, I'll pick one of those up, and they usually end up here in my room anyway. So, yeah.
She gets bored and she's like, I don't care about these anymore.
I don't care about this thing, and I'll be like, "Oh, yoink! I'll clean these up for you." Where did that BotBot go? In the garbage. It's fine. I threw it away. Dad! No. It's gone. It's gone. You lost it.
You haven't won any parenting awards, have you, Daryl?
No, but I haven't lost any.
Yoshi, any of this interesting for you?
Fuck no, Charles.
Gotta ask.
Okay.
You're owed the courtesy. Jeremy, I'm going to assume it's a clean sweep, and none of us are picking any of this stuff up.
Not on purpose.
Has your son have any interest in Cyberverse yet?
Not yet. but he hasn't really been exposed to it yet.
Mm.
He's still
You need to Stanley Kubrick that kid, man.
he's still in the rescue bots phase, and then I'm showing him. When we do a G1 episode for the show, he sits and watches it with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm easing him in.
All right, well, that is all the stuff out of MCM London Comic Con. So that'll finish up our toy segment, and we will move on to trips to the store. This is where we show off all the amazing Transformers stuff we got this week. We do this as a video that we show on YouTube, so you can see everything we got in beautiful high definition. But we put the audio right here so you can listen as we describe everything in loving detail as well. So without further ado, trips to the store.
The Transmissions Podcast will return after these messages.
Yoshi, you're first.
I really don't remember showing this off, or if I did or I didn't, but this is the G1 themed trading card game deck from San Diego Comic Con that one of our amazing listeners sent me after I sent them oodles of money for it. And
That's a nice trade, too.
Yeah, I don't remember, unfortunately.
Was it Dale? It's probably Dale.
If it's not Dale, tell me so I can apologize. Otherwise, thank you, Dale. But yeah, it's cool. I love it. I want to move the cards over to a display of some kind. I'm still working that out. And because Charles is giving me the hurry up and shut up motion, go on. Who's next?
Jeremy.
God, that delay. That fucking delay.
Jeremy, what do you got?
I think this is going to wrap up my New York Comic Con stuff. I was able to get a couple things signed. Nick Roach was there, and I got him to sign my Lost Light 25, and he signed it, and he also corrected the misspelling by adding the I in achieved. That was nice. And then I also got him to sign my Transformers Ghostbusters number 5. They're all doing the end of the movie dance. That was fun. Olivia Remendelli was there too, and I got him to sign my Galaxies number 1, Constructicons Rising. And then I was tipped off at the first day of the show. I guess I was there for 2 days, but I hadn't been there for very long, and I got a Twitter DM from Ant from TFU.info about, he was like, I know you're into variant covers. There's this booth that has some of the Combiner Wars Transformers variant covers. So I stopped by. This is from St. Mark's Comics, which was a comic store that I believe is now, they shut down, and now I think they're online only. But they had a booth selling some stuff, and these, when I looked for them online to get the artist name, they were going for like $15 a piece. I got the set for $5. So these are the Combiner Wars Transformers opening salvo. This is Transformers number 39 with Superion saving their comics or their store, and then the Windblade Combiner Wars number 1 where Devastator is destroying their store.
So Devastator won in reality.
Yeah, I mean, it's just they did these with a lot of different comic stores, and I don't think I ever picked up any of them, but 2 for $5. It's a great deal. The artist was Travis Singus. So yeah, I mean, these are I don't really see anything wrong with, the characters look great. I don't know if the comic shop actually looked like that or not, but yeah, it was a great deal, and nice to start off the show with a Transformers purchase. So that is all I got.
All right. I will go next. So I just have one thing. This is another holdover from TFcon Toronto. Still pulling stuff out.
You can't give me flack.
I didn't. So, but this is Iron Factory Spirits of the DEC. This is Dubhe. This is Tarn. I do have, since I have the other guys, I do have the fixed arms for him, but I haven't put them on yet. I haven't taken him out of the box yet. So, but I did want to show Tarn. So I'm gonna have another showing where I take him out and put the fixed arms on, so you can get the full effect here. So I'm milking it. Yes, I'm milking it. But yeah, this is Tarn, Spirits of the DEC, or the Decepticon Justice Division for those who read IDW Comics.
Destron Enforcement Division.
All right, Daryl, what do you got? My brother in Blaster.
Yes. So I picked this guy up. I've been trying to get just the three of these guys, and I got the Starscream and I got the Thundercracker, and I didn't really see this guy around a lot, but I finally picked up Armada Skywarp to finish off my Armada Seekers. And I thought they were finished off, and then I found that there are actually two more of them. So I don't know if I'm going to finish those off. I only ever wanted the original three colors, so they're done. There is a little mini-con for this guy. I do not have it, so he is not complete, but I really don't care about the mini-cons, but I care about it being complete, so I'm kind of torn. I don't know what to do. I may just finish him off. I may try and find it. There's no batteries in them, but I assume they work because it's not really corroded or anything like that. But it looks pretty good. The missile launchers work and everything like that. So yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, all three colors are done. The last thing I got is a G1 figure. This is a Pretender that is not really much of a Pretender, but it's a different type of Pretender. This is Gunrunner, and he's one of the car or automobile Pretenders. So you got the little dude, which this is a sad excuse for a Transformer, but then you've got this car thing, and if you turn the wheels, then the gun on top twists around, and essentially the car just opens up like that, like a clamshell, and then Buddy goes inside, and you close it up. Yeah, like that. G1. Yeah, you do a little bit of transformation. Yeah, his arms fold in on him, and his legs kind of fold up. Like that.
So
it gets a little smaller.
Is this like the Autobot version of Thunderwing?
Well, Thunderwing, he's a Pretender as well, so yes. But there's a Decepticon version, and I can't for the life of me remember his name right now. So yes, there's a Decepticon one, but all the Pretenders kind of did this kind of thing. So yeah, Pretenders really were kind of crap Transformers, but they're fun. They're different. Yeah. So yeah, Gunrunner. Yay. He's kind of a terrible Transformer, but he's G1, so whatever.
He's yours.
Yep.
He's grandfathered in.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that will wrap it up for this episode of Trips to the Store.
We now return to the Transmissions Podcast.
All right, we're back from our trips to the store, and we will finish up the show with convention news.
In convention news this week, we were tipped off by our listener Neurowing. There's a Transformers convention in Winnipeg, Manitoba, November 9th, and it's called Intercon. And there is some pretty kick-ass art here, advertising it with like 6-shot, and this is going to be at the Board Air Community Center at 471 Hampton Street in Winnipeg, and it will be 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. on November 9th. So it's a nice one-day convention. Looks like it is. They had one in 2014, 2015, and 2017. And admission is $5, with kids under 12 getting free with the purchase of an adult admission. So That is a pretty good deal. Looks like they're going to have a guest, Lovern Kinzert. This is a horrible name to spell or say. Kinzierski. He is a comics colorist. He has worked on a number of Transformers titles from IDW, it says, and I'm not entirely familiar with his work, but looks like he might have done some of the like variant covers and stuff, but the arts here looks good. And then they're going to have artist Evan Quiring, who looks like he has done, or he's going to have a Transformers sketch that, or he'll be doing commissions, and he has worked for people like Dynamite Entertainment, a number of other smaller comics studios. So that is cool. I'm sure we're going to hear from Neurowing about how the convention went, but if you're in that area, be sure to check it out.
I want to mention that the convention art that you mentioned of Six Shot was actually by our listener, Neurowing. He did it. So
sorry.
That's pretty. It is awesome art. Very good. Very well done, Neurowing.
He's very talented. We don't deserve the talent that our audience has. Heading back to TFcon, Daryl mentioned that we were going to talk about some of the exclusives here in convention news. So these were announced after our recording date last week, so we didn't cover them. But since they are convention exclusives and you can get them nowhere other than at the convention, we're going to talk about them now. The first is Mastermind Creations reformatted R41 Ultio, and this is their is it Senator Ratbat or just Ratbat? I'm not sure.
It's Senator Ratbat.
Senator Ratbat.
I thought it was Nautica, Charles.
It does kind of resemble Nautica.
I thought it was too, but I was wrong.
I'm sure they're going to have a remold.
That would be a cool remold.
It does. I mean, it's a nice looking figure. If you look at the alt mode, it very much resembles Nautica. But I can see it also kind of be like a Batwing, like, a Batman vehicle, which is nice.
Looks very nice, very cool, very sleek. Yeah, I like the head sculpt in particular. It looks very. He's got the little sinister smile there, or frown, I guess.
I think it looks really awesome. We did see this at TFcon Toronto as a prototype or like a pre mold or whatever. Like they were ready to go with this thing, but it wasn't available for sale. And it's really cool to see it up here as a show exclusive. Yeah, the joke was made that it was, Nautica. Charles had mentioned that it might have been Nautica when we first saw it, and then obviously we got corrected really quickly. But at TFcon Toronto, so yeah, no, it's a really cool looking Senator Ratbat. Some of the poses that it's capable of pulling off are really, really cool. It's a really, really regal looking character with a nice sculpt and a silhouette that pulls it off as well. And the head sculpt is like you said, is perfect. I love the little bat teeth that come down just on the outside of his face. It's really well done.
Well, Yoshi, you have any comments?
I wish I did. I mean, he looks cool, but I'm just not interested.
Well, the next one we have is also by Mastermind Creations, and it is a Transformers Prime-esque bulkhead. And Daryl, who is this from? I think this is a remold.
Yeah, this is a remold. This is from their Roadbuster, and they did another one. I think it was name's on the tip of my tongue right now.
Striker?
Striker, yes, that's the name. Yeah, so they remolded, I think Striker was first, and then Roadbuster came right after. Either or, they were official releases from Mastermind, and then this is a remold off of that figure. But this
is perfect.
It looks so good. Yeah. I really like it. They added the knuckle dusters as well. So it works out so well. The alt mode looks like a really badass tank, like a rolling tank, or wheeled tank, I guess you could say. It works. I like it a lot.
Yeah. I particularly like you call them knuckle busters. It's basically his maces, but it's basically just a covering over his fist.
Yeah, and that's how they got around doing it, right?
Yeah, and with like some of the ammo things, I'm like, this is really what that hound from the live action movies. It should have been bulkhead.
Yes, done up exactly like this.
Harp on that.
Yeah,
but this figure looks so good. Charles, you're another Transformers Prime fan. What do you think?
Yeah, this is really nice. If I was collecting the Transformers Prime toys, I would get this one. I mean, this is a really good bulkhead version from Transformers Prime, and it's really.
Do you think this? Because Mastermind Creations has always been not always, but their shtick has been the IDW universe. Do you think this is either signaling that they're going to try and do stuff in other universes, or do you think this is more of a, we're doing an exclusive, this is now how we would imagine Bulkhead being in the IDW universe?
Well, I mean, Bulkhead did make an appearance in...
I don't think he looked like this, though.
Oh.
No. I mean, I think it was probably just an opportunistic thing where they said, hey, we have this design, what other figures can we turn it into? And they, like, someone probably was just messing around and said, oh, I think I can make a good Bulkhead out of this.
It's hard to tell that was any other figure. But
yeah.
They did such a good job on it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would be all for it. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they should just stick to IDW, continuity. They can branch out, do whatever. I think that's that's what's the nice thing about third party is they're not limited to a particular figure. I mean, they can if they're doing limited print runs, they can afford to branch out to figures who are not getting a lot of toy love in the main line. So let them do that. And yeah, IDW is traditionally where it's gone because we do get a lot of comic only characters, but I think other places can get that too.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up with this Pharaoh Sphinx, and it is another one of the Mirage recolors that they've done. This one is in black and gold, kind of Egyptian traditional colors. And Yoshi, this thing has rubber tires. What do you think?
It's got sexy rubber tires. Is this the same mold that they did a few years ago where it was half translucent?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is like, I think
Good
now the fifth.
God, they're getting their money's worth out of this thing, aren't they?
Yeah, well, they had another, we talked about last week, like a G2 colored version.
G2 colored.
Yeah, I saw that one. Good for them. Rubber tires, a great looking figure. It looks good in black and gold. Like I got no complaints other than I wish I had the translucent one.
Yeah, I personally think this looks better than the G2 version, just because the head on the G2 version didn't really work well with the colors they had.
Now, was the G2 version modeled off what they wanted the G2 version to be?
It was modeled off of a prototype that was never made.
Okay. Gotcha.
So, Daryl, what do you think?
I mean, I agree. This is a very sexy paint scheme. It's like the high gloss black with the gold is it's really I mean, this is a color palette that works. It's known to work. And I think it's really nice. There's no detailing to the car mode, or the figure about, it's a race car. You'd think there'd be numbers or advertisements or anything like that. There's none of that. It's just clean, and it looks really nice. Like it's pretty. There's no basis on the design other than these colors look sick and we're going to do a figure with it, and it works.
All right. Well, Charles, you're in Pittsburgh. Black and gold seem to go together. Are you going to get one, slap some Steelers logos on it?
Nah.
Penguins?
Since I know you're an Eagles fan.
Penguins?
Nope. No. I mean, it's cool. I'm glad it's. I mean, if people really like the Mirage figure, but not for me. I passed on the original one. I'm not into the multiple colors. Yeah, black and gold is nice. I'm not. I mean, Steelers are fine. I don't have a problem with Steelers. They might be able to sell this more in Pittsburgh. They should come to a Pittsburgh convention and try to sell these.
Yeah, they should come to Steel City Con.
Yeah.
All right. The last thing we have with TFcon news, and thanks to our third Sergio in our Discord for sending us this picture. They have announced dates for the next U.S. convention, Orlando 2020, March 20th through 22nd. And it is going to be at the Doubletree by Hilton Hotel, which is at the entrance of Universal Orlando. So if you're looking for a Florida vacation in March when, much of North America is, an icy tundra still, go down to Florida. It'll be nice and warm. I know I've taken a couple trips to Florida in that, springtime, and it's been nice.
It's the week after March break up here, so
I think that's what we call spring break. I do think 6 months after the other con is still, I don't know. I guess they're going for different audiences since different part of the country, and then TFcon Toronto is in July. I would imagine another U.S. con is going to be in the fall.
Well, that answers the question of whether they were going to keep doing a spring show.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's every other year. I mean, it was Burbank last year, the year before.
No, Burbank was this year. Yeah, it's 2019.
Okay, so they're definitely branching out.
So, I mean, here we are. It was announced earlier today. What are everyone's thoughts about Orlando in March?
I mean, I think it's good for that part of the country. If you're in the South, you don't get a lot of access to these cons. They're not usually in your area. So for them, I think it's good. I think for me, it's probably I probably won't go just because it's a flight for me, and I don't know what the guest list is going to be shaping up to be, but it doesn't have the added draw that Los Angeles had, where they could get all the Hollywood talent there. But I think it's good to move things around to give other people who are in other parts of North America access.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm still hoping that they're going to come to Chicago in the fall. Like I will be at C2E2 a few weeks before that, so I think it's just financially it's just not going to work for me. So I'm still hoping for.
Cool. Personally, there's a nonstop flight from London, my London, to Orlando, as there probably is from most cities, and it might be doable, So I'll let's put me down as a maybe right now.
I heard that Daryl's going.
We penciled him in.
All right. Well,
Yoshi,
what about you?
Well, I think Charles is right. This is a good part of the country to have it because we haven't had it here yet. What guests are they going to have? Like, I know that Florida is home to a small handful of G1 comic book artists, but TFcon hasn't really.
It's home to Josh Perez.
It's Josh Perez.
Florida somewhere.
I know that Derek Yaniger has attended several cons in Florida.
He doesn't seem to be interested in the Transformers stuff, though.
Let's lay out some money for the guy. He should come.
Yeah.
Let's see. You got Don Perlin. You got Jose Delbo.
If they got someone like Jose Delbo, I think that'd be cool.
But I don't. That's not been TFcon's MO in the past. So I don't know what or if any voice actors reside in Florida.
Well, I think Florida is a bigger draw for people getting guests to come to than like DC.
Probably.
And then you have the Universal Transformer ride, so that'll get guests to come. Well,
as far as my attendance, I will say that they really, I think for me, they're hurting themselves because the week before is Emerald City, and that sucks me dry pretty good. I don't want to say no, but it's not an easy trip if I decide to go.
It will, I'm sure, have more news about guests pretty soon because they're pretty good about spacing out the guest announcements. So that is it for convention news this week.
All right, and that will do it for this episode of Transmissions. Thanks, everyone, for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for all your feedback. Later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to this episode of Transmissions. But just because this episode is over doesn't mean the Transformers fun has to stop. Join us and other Transformers fans on our Discord chat server by visiting transmissionspodcast.com/discord. If you would like to learn more about how you could support the Transmissions Podcast, just visit transmissionspodcast.com/support. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you again next week.
Nathan.
Sorry, I'm having trouble understanding right now. Please try a little later.
I have no idea.
Hey, Jeremy, with your soundboard, could you put the intro music from Pornhub on there, and when I join, you play it?
I don't know what that is. I mean, I could always just do the...
Is your wife listening in the next room?
I can just do that.
Oh, it's mirror. I can see myself as mirrored in my screen.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna fist bump you. And...
Wonder Twin powers activate.
Hey.
Form of Canadian. Michael put in the Pornhub theme. I love Mike.
What's the theme to Pornhub? I mean, it's
Fuck, I forget now.
just a website.
It's not a thing, like everybody will hear it. Everybody knows what it is.
Pornhub. You're watching Pornhub. Sexy ladies. Big titties. Pornhub.
Well, there's the outtake.
Fuck that. That's the intro.
Why? I don't want to get fucked up. I got too much shit to do. I can't spend half my time fucked up.
He'll break his toys.
Yeah.
They'll prevent him from buying toys is what it'll do.
Yeah.
I forgot about the
I did it.
Yeah, thank you, Daryl. Good job.
No problem. You tell me to do the doc, I do the doc. You want me to do it, I do it. You know, I don't screw it up.
I'm going to lead off with that.
It might not be the way you want it because you move it to first. I put it last, but I do it.
Jeremy did that. I didn't do that.
Oh, I see. Somebody move it. It's got your name beside it, but I guess it's Jeremy. I don't know. I don't take responsibility. I just put it in doc.
Sorry, I'm just sad that
Jeremy,
Charles
you're on
let me
mute
play
if you're trying to do something.
I am on mute, and I've been talking. Yeah, I've been talking for a long time, and no one's heard me.
No one heard a word.
No.
I'm sure it was very
I'm
clever.
It's like you're not on mute.
Well, I'm still upset because Charles didn't let me play him in.
Sorry.
Here, I thought I was contributing to that conversation too.
There was no feedback in this show.
I know, that was being a dick and being sarcastic, Charles.
Oh, yeah. All right.
We did have the feedback at the very beginning with the Daryl read in the toy section.